Are the two best defenses in the SEC going to meet in Bryant-Denny on Saturday?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. We want to thank you for joining Locked On Bama, which is now the #1 sports podcast network. You guys are awesome.
Number one's good.
Number one is
during the entirety of the Saban era. Number one is good.
That is good. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And, Jimmy, we're going to start off talking about the defenses. Alabama fans love defense. I told you the other day I met Antonio London. You want to talk some defense? That dude knew defense.
He was part of the 92 defense. Still up there for me as top 3 defense of my lifetime. Top 3.
I don't think Alabama.
Maybe number 1. The top 3 for sure.
Is number 1 to me. I mean, everybody else is running for second. But regardless, so are the two best defenses in this conference going to meet in Bryant-Denny on Saturday? I kind of think they are. And it's crazy to think that, because even me, I've given Kane Wormack some grief. Since halftime of Vanderbilt on, though, I've been incredibly satisfied with Kane Wormack. Now, a couple of things. According to SEC stats here, SECsports.com stats, Oklahoma's only given up 12 touchdowns in 9 games. Lord, that's pretty good. Now, we've only given up 19, also good in 9 games, especially when you consider we've played – well, first of all, especially when you consider the Florida State game. It happened. I'm not trying to throw it out, but I'm saying if you throw out your worst performance, I guess we gave up 4 touchdowns in that game, right? I mean,
four touchdowns to them, so 4.
And then if
4 came in game 1, so 15 in 8 games.
And then when you consider Wisconsin had a kick return for a touchdown.
Good point.
So that takes another one out. I can't think of any other special teams or like pick six, anything like that was happening. Maybe it did, but I just can't remember it. So it's not bad. Now, but Oklahoma's only averaging giving up about 14 points a game, and we're only averaging about 17 points.
In terms of giving up points.
Giving up points. Yeah, giving up points is what I meant. So I don't know. I mean, I think these are the best 2 teams, defenses at least, in the SEC.
Yeah, I believe that. Spent quite a bit of time yesterday diving into the numbers. That's where the answers are, and I think unquestionably. I mean, I'm fine with admitting at this point Oklahoma's the best defense in the league. I believe that over the course of the whole season. I think LSU was earlier this year, and then Oklahoma sort of overtook that and have maintained that. They have great personnel. They have an excellent pass rushing team. They have an excellent set of DBs. They're just really good. And it's all led by Brent Venables, who is, I think, maybe the best defensive mind in college football. I know he's the head coach, but that's his defense. If you want evidence of how good Venables is at this, just look at the numbers this Oklahoma team is putting up. And, hey, I think at this point we can add 2 and 2 and just have to say that the collapse of Clemson has a lot to do with when Brent Venables left Clemson to become the Oklahoma coach. And I don't think Clemson's recovered since. I think he's responsible for a lot of the Clemson success under Dabo. And I'm not trying to sell Dabo short. I'm just trying to compliment Brent Venables. He's just a great defensive mind, and it's a heck of a defense we're going up against. Now, Alabama, I think, has over time become the second best defense in the league behind Oklahoma. I think the numbers support that. I think I'm just about – it's a big deal to me, might not be for everyone else listening, but I think now we can say with a straight face, Alabama's a top 10 defense in college football. They are now. I don't know if you could say that over the course of the whole season, but I think right now as we speak, they just simply are one of the 10 best defenses in college football. And I think top 10 is my own personal definition of elite nationally. If you're top 10 in anything, you're elite. There's 135 teams. So you're better than, you're basically top 6%, in the sport, and would even be considered Even we've just pared down to 65 Power 4 football teams, being top 10 is a big deal. So I think Alabama is a top 10 defense. Heck of a thing to say after some early bumps in the road this year, giving up 31 to Florida State, ugly first quarter against Vanderbilt. But now this is a top 10 defense. Several dudes emerging. Yande emerges. James Smith, to me, gets better every week now. I think LT Overton is playing well. The inside line, Nakai Hill-Green played the best game of his Alabama career. We know Bray Hubbard's good. Dijon Lee, no longer really playing like a freshman at all. He's playing like a freshman All-American is what Dijon Lee's doing. So this is the two best defenses in the league. And I know we got a few days before we predict the score, Luke, but I am going to predict an Alabama win. But it's going to be tight and with very, very few points.
Yeah, that game's trust me, I think that game's going to be tight as a tick on Matilda. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, but it's an old one.
I'm blown away by it. Tighter than a tick on who?
Tighter than a tick on Matilda. I assume in that saying Matilda is a dog, and there's a tick on Matilda, and that tick is swole up.
I was worried about Aunt Matilda and Lyme disease.
That tick swole up like it's Rougiette ready, y'all. All right. I'm getting fired. So, all right. Alabama and Oklahoma only have two common opponents, those being South Carolina. They both went to South Carolina. And then Oklahoma went to Tennessee, and we played Tennessee at home. I think the startling difference is Oklahoma beat South Kakalaki 26-7. Now, for whatever reason, maybe it's because of Oklahoma. South Carolina played much better against us.
Season-saving performance by South Carolina just came up short.
True. Then against Tennessee, I would say that obviously Alabama only gave up 20 points and Tennessee gave up 27. That said, Tennessee scored 33 and we scored 30 with a pick six. So we really scored 37. The other thing I would say is while if I'm going to reduce points for Alabama, say on a kickoff return by Wisconsin, I have to also do it for Oklahoma, who gave up a punt return against Texas. That's the only one I know of that Oklahoma did. Maybe they gave up some others that I should reduce, but that's the only one I know of. I know they probably should have given up another 7 to Auburn on a fumble return, which was overturned, but hey, I'm sort of happy that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely going to spend some time this week going through our common opponent games because that's always interesting insight. I think Oklahoma has changed over the course of the season. So has Alabama. Earlier this year in September, I wouldn't say people were necessarily talking about how Oklahoma's defense may be the best in the country. People were talking about John Mateer, which means in September, Oklahoma had a heck of an offense. Frankly, Alabama's offense was a little more explosive earlier in the season or a little better earlier in the season. It seems like Alabama's offense has deteriorated a bit, and that needs to be a theme of our shows this week. Like do we have enough offense to not only win this game, but make the playoff? And if so, advance in the playoff? Those are fair questions because Alabama's offense does seem to be a little bit in reverse, whereas Oklahoma's maybe getting better as John Mateer's thumb continues to improve because it seemed like, boy, Oklahoma's pretty good on offense, and Mateer sort of won the September Heisman. Then Mateer hurts his thumb, and then Oklahoma's offense sort of falls off a cliff, and Mateer comes back, in my opinion, it seemed to me, came back a little early because he didn't play well at all in that first game against Texas, which was a loss for them. It just hasn't seemed the same for Oklahoma offensively since he's come back. But like Alabama, they struggle to run the ball. There's a little bit of a mirror image thing here, Luke, with Alabama and Oklahoma, both with guys that have sort of been at the top of the Heisman talk, at quarterback, elite defenses. Now we can say both Oklahoma and Alabama, top 10 defenses, both struggle to run the football. Oklahoma thought they were going to run it great. Remember, they went and got Jaden Ott from California? Hadn't done much. Oklahoma's run game just hasn't been much more productive, been a little more productive than Alabama's, not by a lot. So both teams struggled to run the ball. They put a lot on the quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks are good. The defenses are good. these are similar teams. Both teams have good offensive lines, but also sort of struggle at times. And I know we're coming up on a break, and when we do, I want to bring up something about Alabama's offensive line that changed over the weekend that I think is significant.
Yep, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Got to tell you about Wayfair, though. The holiday season is right around the corner, yo. And that means it's time to get you home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or a fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. You just don't have to. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off from everything from sofas to spatulas. Don't miss out on Black Friday deals all month long. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th.
That's right around SEC championship game, right? December 7th. So you got to do the SEC championship game. Hopefully Alabama will be there. By the way, we'll talk about that in a second, but you could get your Wayfair knocked out. SEC championship game weekend follows. It's perfect timing.
Also want to thank you everydayers for being here every day. You guys are the best. I don't want y'all to think that I forgot y'all. We have a new opening, a site-wide, program-wide new opening where we want to humble brag about being the #1 sports network. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's important. But I think it's also important to tell you everydayers that we love y'all every day. So, Jimmy, the running game for Alabama is anemic.
Yep.
I think that's what it is because I'm pretty sure that's what anemic means. So,
for sure,
I'm looking here at the stats on offense for. I want to pull up Alabama on rushing, and it is Alabama is 14th now. LSU is 15th. South Carolina is 16th. Oklahoma's only 11th. It's not like Oklahoma's just running all over it.
Look at the yardage difference. It's not a lot, right? Can you add it up? About 20.
Alabama, holy cow, this is crazy. Alabama's only got 1,007 yards on the year rushing. Oklahoma's got 1,233. So they only have 10 rushing touchdowns.
So they average.
How many of those are Jeremy Bernard?
So they've rushed for 200 more yards than Alabama over 8 games, right? Or over 9 games, actually.
9 games.
So 200 yards over 9 games is about 20 yards a game, roughly 25 yards a game. So they only rush for 25 yards more per game than Alabama. So as bad as Alabama's been, Oklahoma's nearly as bad. So that's really interesting. Here's one difference in the run game. It obviously didn't make a huge difference this past weekend. But what I think is really interesting about Alabama's offensive line is, as we all know, all season, 2 positions have been a lockdown. 3 positions, they've just rotated players. But they don't rotate at center. Parker Brailsford plays the whole game, every snap. They don't rotate at left tackle. Caden Proctor plays every snap. Why? Great players. They're just great players. Parker may be the best center in the country. Caden Proctor may be a first-round draft pick. These are really good players. That's why they don't rotate. They rotate the other spots, indicating to me, and I think everyone listening, that they're clearly not thrilled with what's going on at the other 3 spots. But alas, 2 games in a row now, Jaden Roberts has played every snap at right guard. 2 games in a row. I think it's fair to say that unless we see a change against Oklahoma, and I doubt that's coming, Jaden Roberts now has right guard on lockdown, no different than Parker Brailsford has center on lockdown and Caden Proctor has his at left tackle. So a third of the 5 spots has now been claimed as someone's own. And I think we all know Jaden Roberts is a good player, a lot of upside, better run blocker than pass blocker. And there may be some logic to this in terms of him winning that spot. Now, what's happened at the other 2 spots? Formby still plays the majority of snaps at right tackle. Michael Carroll played about 16 snaps, and that's all. So I think Formby was in the 40s. So Formby plays, let's say, 3/4 of the time, and Michael Carroll plays a quarter of the time. And for those who go, I want to see Michael Carroll more, keep in mind they did give Michael Carroll the starting spot. He sort of handed it right back to Wilkin. And my read over there is this is the difference between Wilkin getting occasionally beat, but Michael Carroll more consistently missing assignments, which is normal for an 18-year-old learning to play offensive line in the league. Even more interesting at left guard this past week, and I think this is an issue. They played 3 guys at left guard, and they all played fairly significant snaps. Gino Vandermark played the most snaps. He's been at right guard most of the year. He actually played the most snaps at left guard, Gino Vandermark. Second in snaps, you'd say Cam Dewberry? No. It was William Sanders actually played the second most snaps at left guard. Dewberry played the third amount of snaps over there. So that's significant because Dewberry has played the most there all year long. As we're getting deeper into the season, his role being diminished, even behind, as of last week, the redshirt freshman William Sanders. Just seems to me, Luke, that while I expect the rotation up front to continue at those 2 spots, sort of settled into it being primarily Formby and Vandermark. Now, William Sanders may be a riser. Mike Carroll may be better with the assignments, and we may see more of Sanders and Carroll. They seem to have the most upside there at those positions, but they're young and learning. But I think the overriding story here is that Jaden Roberts has really won that right guard position, and I think that's good news in the sense that, to me, he's the most talented kid that we have at that spot. And hopefully this will help solidify the offensive line, which is a bit of an issue as it relates to the run game. I do think they're excellent in pass protection. Their pass protection numbers against LSU were really good, considering how good LSU's defense is. They only gave up 1 sack and very few pressures. Ty had a clean pocket most of the night.
You know, we labeled this segment Run Game Answers, and I think the answer is the run game ain't going to get any better. Because let me tell you something. Let me just rattle off a few things here. Jam Miller has carried the ball 88 times for 321 yards. That's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. It feels like he gets 3.6 yards every carry. That's what it feels like. It's like his longest run is 22 yards. He has 2 touchdowns. The second leading rusher is Kevin Riley with 48 yards and 48 carries, 186 yards. He has no touchdowns, and he hadn't played in a few games, it feels like. Daniel Hill has only
what's his yard per carry number?
3.9.
That's not good.
And it's also 22 is his longest.
That's not good. That kid's one of the fastest players on the football team, too.
Daniel Hill has 29 carries for just 104 yards. He's averaging 3.6 yards a carry. He has 2 touchdowns. Jeremy Bernard, 16 carries for 97 yards. He's averaging 6.1 yards a carry.
Best running back on the team.
He has 2 touchdowns.
Best running back on the team.
The leading touchdown getter, also Ty Simpson, 55 carries for 87 yards. His longest is 20, and he has 2 touchdowns. So I know it counts sack yardage. But what I'm saying is our leading rushing touchdown guys, we have 4 tied with 2, which is also tied with Rico Scott with receiving touchdowns. I mean, if that just to give you some.
How about this number? I think we all know our 3 leading running backs. The 3 leading running backs, and I'm not looking at it right now. Luke's looking at it, so leave it up because I'm about to shock you. So leave up that rushing stat you're looking at.
I did just say them though. So
I know, but leave them up, because I'm about to show you something there that's kind of shocking and disappointing. So 3.6 is Jam Miller, and 3.6 is Kevin Riley, and 3.6 Daniel Hill. 3.9 Kevin Riley's the best number. Look further down at Caden Proctor's yard per carry number. Look at it.
He's 3.8.
Yeah. So Caden Proctor is no worse than any of the other leading backs on the team in terms. So Alabama's run game really is. It's an attempt at nothing right now. It's an attempt at nothing with the backs. It's more effective with Jeremy Bernard. And it's just not working. Now, does that mean abandon it? Does that mean, okay, just quit, just go air raid, just go Mike Leach, Texas Tech, just go 1989 Houston and Andre Ware, just do that? No. Keep trying to run the ball, because even if it doesn't work, you're at least forcing the defense to defend it. Because if they completely stop defending the run altogether, then maybe you might run the ball. I'm curious to see if Alabama's able to run the ball against Eastern Illinois.
Jimmy, this is why I said the answer is it's never going to get going, because here's the deal. throw out Eastern Illinois. I don't even know what their record is. I ain't looking it up until next week, and I'm not going to be super interested then. I'll be honest with you. We should beat the doors off of them, okay? Right. But I'm looking at Auburn and Oklahoma, and while I think Oklahoma and Alabama right now do have the best two defenses in the league, I think Auburn's probably number 3. So if Auburn's number 3, we're about to play the number 1 and number 3 teams. And if you take us out because we can't play ourselves, we're really playing number 1 and number 2 left. So do you think that our running game is going to get going against an Oklahoma team who we think has the best defense in the league potentially, and an Auburn team in Jordan-Hare Stadium that is going to be – the Iron Bowl is going to be their Super Bowl. It's 100 – there's no way around that. That's going to be the biggest thing. They're going to be geeked up on goofballs, and they're going to come in and play nuts because that's what they do. And do you think we're going to get our running game going then? Hell no. Hell no. What we're going to have to do is sling it all over the yard. And we might have to do a Bryce Young 97-yard drive or a grave digger type play to win this thing. And I'm fine with that. I sort of enjoy it that way because I like to see it's like when Lisa broke Ralph Wiggum's heart, and it was recorded on national TV, and Bart said, look, I can rewind it and we can go slow motion. You can see the exact moment that his heart broke. And that's what I like. But I almost prefer that to a blowout. So, but that's going to happen. So we ain't getting the running game going. And, I hate to be all Nick Saban to Maria Taylor, but quit asking. I mean, that's the only thing I need to say about that.
That's a good ending to that. I do think, for the record, I think Alabama will run the ball better against Auburn than they will against Oklahoma.
I mean, probably fair.
Maybe FanDuel has something to say about that. You could probably find FanDuel numbers on it.
That's world's tallest midget type bragging. All right, so can I say midget? I don't know. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at bigger payouts. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Jimmy Stein, get you. Okay, so to wrap up in this third segment here, we're going to just talk about a few things. First of all, Ty and the Heisman. Mm-hmm. It feels like that Fernando Mendoza, who I think was in The Princess Bride, but that wasn't him. But he has taken the lead. And here's the thing. Dusty Dvorak today on Dusty and Danny in the Morning said something very interesting. He said, everybody's fawning over Fernando Mendoza, and it was a hell of a drive, and quarterbacks get all the love for a drive like that. There's no doubt about it. Very rarely will somebody else get the credit. I mean, Mark Ingram against South Carolina in 2009, when he just carried the ball 100 times in a row and just wildcatted all down the field. He got credit for that one. But for the most part, it's the quarterback's going, even if you run the ball all the way down the field, everybody's going to be like, what a game manager. And Fernando Mendoza did make some good passes. Mm-hmm. But Dusty Dvorak made this point. The Cooper kid who caught the pass, the receiver who caught the pass, he was the real star because he went up, got a ball that was really high, and then toe tapped in the end zone. And it was amazing. And so what I'm saying is Fernando Mendoza may have taken the lead in the Heisman race. That's very true. He may have. But it's probably not totally fair, and it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that Ty still wins this thing. Now, there are going to be some people saying, why are y'all even talking about the Heisman? Because it's a thing, and we want Ty to win it. And I would rather have a national championship too, but why not do both?
Yeah, there's no reason that you can't do both. And, of course, we would like to see Ty win the Heisman, and I would like to see Ty deserve the Heisman. I think right now it's really up in the air. That's the Mendoza thing, and I did watch quite a bit at Indiana, Penn State. I think we have to differentiate between being the number one pick in the draft and the Heisman Trophy. Those are two completely different things. I haven't been a big Mendoza fan until now. There's been a lot of seeing him high in mocks, and I watch that Kuiper Field Yates show every week, First Draft. I love that show because I love the draft, and and they're the voices of the draft for ESPN, and they're great. They have Mendoza right now, the number one pick. And when they announced that the other day and said Fernando Mendoza goes number one, I was shaking my head a little bit, like I'm just not sure. Then I watch Indiana Penn State, particularly on the last drive, and I didn't become sure that he'd be the first pick, but I see it now. I see it. I see why he is mock number one, and I can foresee him possibly going number one in the NFL draft, and he may be worthy of that number one draft selection. So are other guys. Hey, if it was me picking number one, I might take Ruben Bain from Miami, but that's neither here nor there. But I see the Mendoza thing. Now, do I think that was a Heisman winning performance by Mendoza? I don't, because first of all, Indiana was in a hole in part because Mendoza hadn't been great. Secondly, that drive, which was phenomenal, 80 yards, no timeouts. Your All-American wide receiver not even playing in the game. And you do it. You pull it off on the road against a top 5 Penn State team, talent-wise they are. That's why they were ranked there.
But not anymore without their starting quarterback. I mean, listen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, defensively, that Danny Sutton guy, and yeah, they're good. But my point is, I didn't think it was a Heisman type performance from Mendoza. It was just like hey, if I'm an NFL scout and I saw this guy throwing the ball like that, I'd be like, yeah, he might be my number one pick. But that's different than the Heisman. The Heisman's supposed to go to the most outstanding player in college football. I'm not sold that's Mendoza at all. It might be. He's in the conversation, but so is Julian Sand. So is Ty Simpson. So is Dante Moore, who also I don't think played well against Iowa, but boy, did he make a throw when it counted to win the game. That was a jaw dropper, dime of a throw. That again, I'm starting to become a believer there. With Dante. So Ty's in the mix. I think, Luke, it's not fair to Ty, but the run game and all of Alabama's offensive issues may start to be an albatross around Ty's neck. And that's a little understandable. I mean, in the sense that Alabama's only scoring 25 points a game or something now in SEC games. You only score 20 against LSU. You might be lucky to get 20 against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's better defensively than LSU is. It's not crazy to say Alabama's going to struggle to get to 20 against an even better defense than what LSU's got. So I think all that kind of hurts Ty. What I hope people take into account is right now it's all Ty. It's all Ty because the running game ain't helping him. Alabama's in the national championship race still. Why? Ty. And I think if Alabama beats Oklahoma Saturday, you know what the reason will be? Ty. So I think he's still in it. And I hope people are still giving him a really strong look. But several other quarterbacks are, and maybe time that Heisman voters can consider a position other than quarterback. Note to Heisman voters.
Yeah, I think Ty's got the best opportunity to wow somebody. Now, the only thing I would combat that with is assuming Indiana and Ohio State go undefeated, and Ohio State still has to play Michigan, who has been their bugaboo. That may end up being like, who's going to win the Heisman? But if Ty is able to defeat Oklahoma and John Mateer, and then he's able to go to Auburn and beat Auburn and Jordan Hare, and then he goes to the SEC championship game and wins it, I mean, I think it's going to be hard not to give it to him. But that's, again, I know everybody wants to talk about titles. I'm with you. But I want Ty to win the Heisman because he's on my team. So let's just leave it at that. And that's where we will leave it, Jimmy. And until tomorrow, roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.